Hey, what's up everybody, it's LoveFloat, and today I just wanted to talk about how AMC stock is essentially just a tug-of-war match between the hedge funds and the apes, at least at this point in the game. But before I get into it, I'd just like to mention I'm not a financial advisor, this is not financial advice, and I'd like to mention that 88% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you hit that sub button, it'd mean a lot to me, thank you if you do. And before I get into this, I just wanted to answer this question. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Why haven't the hedge funds covered yet? And it's very simple, because when they do, they are going to lose a lot of money, and potentially a lot of them might go bankrupt, especially all the smaller hedge funds. They really might just, explode. And that's essentially it. And also, I just would like to say that how I see AMC stock as of right now is it's two big groups. It's made up of the hedge funds. Obviously, it's not just one hedge fund. There are multiple hedge funds, and the ape movement. And there's a lot of people in the ape movement. Actually, millions of people are invested in AMC and buy and hold the stock. So it's two big groups of people fighting over a stock, essentially, and what's going to happen with it. And these hedge funds do not want this thing to squeeze, and the apes wanted to squeeze a lot. And it's essentially going to be the first people to give in. And I've got a lot of money betting that the apes are going to hold, and the apes aren't going to be the people that give in, and it's going to be the hedge funds. And I'll tell you why. Let's see what's on the table here. Let's see what we got going for these hedge funds, and let's see what we got going for the apes. And the first thing for the hedge funds is they have the power to use the dark pool. And this is pretty huge because retail does not have access to this. So essentially what the dark pool is these hedge funds, they can send retail orders through the dark pool so they don't immediately hit the exchange. And it's just, the thing about it is it's not very transparent, and a lot of people don't know what's going on in there. And it's hypothesized that there's order delays, and these orders just aren't hitting the street. And you know what? It's pretty crazy because when you have over 60%, and recently it's been 70% of all of the trades on AMC are getting sent to the dark pool, that's pretty substantial. But the thing is, this is starting to get cracked down on, and we'll talk about that when we're talking about the apes. Another thing these hedge funds have, which is pretty, I'll admit it's pretty OP, is payment for order flow. And I'm actually going to make an entire video probably tomorrow about payment for order flow and how it's honestly really OP, and these hedge funds are making a lot of money with it. So essentially what it is the brokers that you're trading with, and there's only a select few, but there's a decent amount of them, are selling your information away. The hedge funds take over the trade and can route them however they feel. So the third one is they have a lot of money, and I mean, oh gosh, I can't write. This one's pretty obvious. I mean, they manage a lot of money and make a lot of money from payment for order flow. And yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. These guys have a lot of money, and they keep making more every day. Obviously, they're down a lot on AMC, but they have, this isn't their only position. They have a lot more positions. They have a lot of collateral. They're making money every day, every second. So they just keep pumping up money. So this is something the apes don't have to deal with, but these hedge funds do, is they have to pay daily margin fees. And that's pretty huge because, it's every single day they have to pretty much pay millions of dollars just to keep this position that's failing. And the apes don't have to do that. I mean, they just hold completely for free. And yeah, that's just kind of an L in the hedge funds part. So the longer they drag this out, the more money they have to spend to just keep this going. So the last thing for the hedge funds is they collect the premium for out of the money options because they're writing a lot of the contracts on AMC. So when apes and all these people, when they're buying all these options and they're paying all this premium, a lot of money for these option contracts, they land out of the money because the hedge funds have very heavy influence over the price because they're a market maker. All that money just goes straight back to them. And it's not a big deal, when it's one or two contracts, but when you have 400,000 contracts expiring out of the money, that is a lot of money that these hedge funds just kind of, they get. So pretty much for the ape side, I wanted this video to be fair, and I wanted to show all of these same things from the ape's perspective. So dark pools this one's pretty big recently, obviously, this kind of stuff is getting exposed. And with these dark pools, and you're having over 70% in one day, the media is even talking about that. So essentially, because of this issue, apes are transferring out of payment for order flow brokerages. They're switching out of Webull. They're transferring out of Robinhood. They're transferring to other brokerages that don't use payment for order flow, like Fidelity or Vanguard or Merrill Lynch and all these other brokerages. So the apes are essentially learning how to combat these hedge funds tricks. Yeah, I mean, I kind of covered it already, but I was going to talk about payment for order flow and how apes are transferring out of all these different brokerages that use that because they give the hedge funds a very big edge over what's going on with the stock. So the third thing is AMC is huge, and these hedge funds might have a lot of money, but the ape movement grows by the day, and that's just you. I mean, this thing's huge by the day. Oh God, I'm not gonna finish that. But yeah, the ape movement grows by the day, and you were constantly having new money get into the stock and new people buying. And of course, they might not have diamond hands. They'll learn. Most of them will learn how to get them. And even if we lose a few of the new people along the way, we knew that was gonna happen. So as long as more money keeps getting into the stock, I truly think the apes have the upper hand in this battle. I covered this earlier, but hedge funds have to pay these daily margin fees. Holding is free. And you don't have to pay margin fees. You buy the stock and you're long on it, you don't have to pay any money. I mean, of course, the value of that stock goes up and down, with time, but you're not paying any of that money, or you're not paying money just to keep your position like these hedge funds are. So that's really huge for the apes. I mean, you just load up on shares and just totally forget you have the position. And, like that's the thing. You can't say that with these hedge funds. They have to pay millions a day since their position is so big just to keep their margin, just to keep that. And also, if they get margin called, they have to pay a ton of money just so they don't get liquidated. And the last thing is, I covered this with the options as well, but apes are sticking with shares, and recently it's been a big thing. I can't write. Big thing in the ape community recently is only buy shares, because these market makers, these hedge funds, they just collect all that premium. So the apes are learning to strictly buy shares. I mean, I'm sure people are going to buy options. I'm not telling you not to buy options. This is not financial advice. Do whatever you want. But I'd say a large majority of people are learning to only stick with shares, because when you're buying options, you're living inside their world. And maybe not if you're a year or two out, but if you do a short-term option, they have heavy influence over the price. And if they want to knock the price down on a certain Friday and your contract happens to be on that Friday, you could just get cheated out of money. So people just really aren't wanting to take that risk anymore, and they're sticking with shares, and they're realizing that this battle can go on for a lot longer than they thought. So people are just sticking with shares. I'd say that's very good for the ape movement, ape community, just AMC in general, because more of these shares are getting eaten up instead of these contracts. And yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you if you do. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Take care.